Goal of the day is to pull the transmission out of this Dodge van. If you want to stick around in case you need to pull yours, I'll show you how. I'm going to do it anyways. The good thing about a van is they sit high enough, especially without running boards. I should be able to perhaps get that transmission out of there with the front end just on ramps. We'll see. First things first, we got to get this doghouse out of here. And they can be just a little bit heavy. And that'll just give us access easily to the bell housing and starter bolts. And then we're going to block both back wheels because we'll be removing that drive shaft. And now I'm just going to take this to neutral so it's in the relaxed position. You'll want to bring a drip pan with you when you pull that drive shaft out with the front end up on ramps. You might get just a little bit of drippage out of the rear of that transmission. And there's only 4 bolts with the 2 straps that hold on your drive shaft. And here's those straps I was talking about. Pretty simple. On a car, oftentimes I won't do it like this. I'll have it to where the bolts are going this way. But on a van or a pickup, you got plenty of room to get up here, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, you just got to watch. These caps will come off. And there's the yoke on the rear end. And you'll want to watch these caps because they will sometimes just fall right off of there. And you got bearings in there, grease. While we're helping things to drain, a good place to get some more out is the speedometer cable here. I'm just going to take off that one bolt and this clip and pull her out. You'll want to remember which of these notches that your clips are in, so you put it in the same way. You can mark them if you want. I might. And the purpose of this being eccentric, that's why we're marking it, is because different notches here are for different size speedometer gears to make it correct with your differential gear ratio. And see, when you pull your speedometer gear out, I just pulled that right out. You just get a little bit more transmission fluid to drain out, which is a good thing. And while that's draining, we'll go ahead and unplug our park neutral safety switch. That's just so it don't start up in reverse or drive or something, and that just unplugs. Be careful when you go to drop this down. It's inside these little fold over clips, and you don't want to drag that out of there with your transmission. Rip it. And by now you might be wondering why we pulling the transmission out anyways. It shifted great, but it leaked. It's been leaking for a couple of years. I add a half a quart every grate now and then. Not the biggest deal, but I don't want it leaking. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm not sure if it's coming from the front transmission seal or the gear selector seal. Just not sure. But we're going to find out. I think it's a good time to get it resealed and all the bands adjusted. Don't you? And while we're under here, we're going to loosen and remove these transmission lines. There's 2 of them. And just some linkage clips. I'll show you. First things we're going to do is right up here. Let me get on this side. Here we go. You have a shifting rod that goes over to here, hooks to the transmission, and it swivels inside this back and forth. That's how you select your gear from the column shift. So we're just going to take off this nut and get this out of there real quick, and then this one clip. I'll show you. So I just put a deep well socket up in here. We'll back that one nut off. So with that off, now I can lift that up out of there. See what I mean? But first I just got to take this little, it's just a little little pin right there out. I just usually slip a screwdriver in the end here and pull her out. There she is. And if I can do this one-handed, guys, all of this project so far, I'm holding a camera. So, and there's these little, they're not bent. They're supposed to be that way. They got like a bend in them. There's a couple of washers. And you can just see how that just went through that hole right there. And now we have freed our shift linkage from the transmission. And now your kick down linkage for your passing gear, you know, or holds the gears out when you give it gas. Same thing, just one little clip and the washers. And then see, that just lifts out of there. That's your passing gear rod, so to speak, or kick down, and this is your gear selector. Now for both transmission lines, you got to hold the inside one inside the transmission. I got a 1/2 inch wrench on that, and then a 5/8 to break this loose. If not, you can, this is tight, it's like a compression fitting. You can twist your transmission line. So just hold this one still and break it loose with this. They're not overly tight. But now that we got it, you're gonna get a little bit of drainage out of that too. Alrighty, different day. So we're back at it. We're gonna take off the bottom starter bolt, and then we'll work on the torque converter bolts. And you'll want the battery disconnected for this. We'll get at that top starter bolt, and basically most of the bell housing bolts from right inside the van here with the doghouse off. You will have to spin off your oil filter to get at that bell housing bolt there. And I'm just removing the bottom 2 bell housing bolts. I'm not separating the motor from the transmission just yet. Coming soon. So this dust cover pan should be loose. There we go. So basically you just got your starter hole here. Once the starter is out, I took this little dust pan off here, this little dust cover, 2 little bolts. And then you just got a couple of more small bolts that hold this on, and then that just slips out. And you can see how these are kind of bent here. These tabs, they kind of go up in there. It's just a little bit of a pain. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't always run this on all my cars. It just depends on how much I feel I'm gonna take it apart, or if it's gonna go on a gravel road or anything. I've had no problems either way. So now we got to get the 4 torque converter bolts loose, and I'm going to use the front of the engine to assist me. You need a 1 1/4 inch socket and the right length extension. Depends on your pulley setup and what you got for options. You're going to rotate the motor clockwise, bring each one around. I'm going to ask for a little assistance from a hammer. I put the 9/16 wrench on there like that. And then I'm going to take this 2-pound hammer. With my one hand, I'm going to hold the wrench on the torque converter bolt. And my other hand, I'm just going to give this a slight whack. And that's because a lot of times people use Loctite, or, you know, they just don't want to come over. So I'm going to hit it that way to break it loose. Just took a couple of slight taps, and once it broke loose, it was easy as peasy. And they're short, so you only got 3 more to go. I'm gonna take a paint marker now and mark it, because they only fit one way on these. There we go, see that? And now I'm just gonna turn the crank over with my ratchet there, and I'm gonna watch for the very next bolt to come around and repeat 3 more times. All right, as you can see, all of them are out. That torque converter turns and that flex plate just stays. And now that's all that's left is on top here is a couple of bell housing bolts on top. We'll get those, and then the cross member, and we're dropping it. There's not a lot of these bell housing bolts, but you gotta look on these vans. Sometimes they hide them behind brackets like this, so you go right in there and get one. This one here has one hiding behind this wire loom holder, so you get that off of there, and then, you know, here it comes. On these vans, a lot of times you got this plug in here, and this is for your park neutral safety switch. I'm just going to unplug those and get rid of that so it don't get pinched up here or someplace in the process. And then I got to do a wire splice. Same with this. If you got, a lot of them don't have these, but some of them do. That just unplugs a little sensor for your transmission fluid. Alrighty, Smitey, we got the 4 torque converter bolts out, the 6 bell housing bolts out, including a couple of bolts too that held in that tin dust cover. Now we're ready to dive underneath, hopefully just one more time. So let's look at this operation I got going on. I got this underneath the oil pan header, really not lifting up, but just got a little bit of, just a slight bit of pressure on it, because I don't want the engine dropping when the transmission comes down, and resting all on the motor mounts up front. So that'll kind of hold that in place, because right now the cross member is doing that too. But really, I'm not going to, you know, mess with this. I'm just going to take, there's 1, 2, 3 bolts per side. I'm going to use my impact just to zip those out real quick. And I got my handy dandy Pittsburgh Harbor Freight transmission jack. Yeah, there was a day when I, you know, would pump them up there with a, sometimes bench press them, sometimes use a jack with a board, kind of like what I got right there. But I got this now, and it's worked. Somewhat sketchy, but it's worked. We'll see. And your setup may look a little different, depending on your year and all what you got going on, but this is a 77. This is what this one looks like. Now you can see we got some separation between the transmission and the engine. So we're gonna let it down, and hopefully we don't get an avalanche. I'm gonna lower it just a little bit here. Whoa, wasn't really hoping for that. It's all right though. So I'm just gonna let it down a little bit more and guide it with my other hand. It should just drop right down, slicker than a whistle. Yeah, it did. As you can see, engine's up there, tranny's down here. So I ran into a little hiccup where the transmission on the jack adds about 8 inches or so, wouldn't get underneath the exhaust. So I loosened my exhaust at the collector, and the transmission is coming right out now. There it is, it's out. So the jack works slick on getting it up in there or in alignment, especially if you're working by yourself, and getting it out. And I am working by myself. But here's the problem, is you get, that's probably closer to 10 or 12 inches. So you lose a lot of your, you know, car being up on the ramp because the jack is so high. But it's out. Really, guys, it wasn't all that bad. Much easier to do a van than like a Duster. At least this type of a van. But this basically covers probably 90, oh, let's just say 71 to 93. That whole B-van series like that, of that body style, 71 I think to 93. Yours may fluctuate just a little bit according to your exhaust, or maybe your mount is a little different on your cross member, but it doesn't matter. It's the same process. I'll show you a couple other things. Going together is going to be the same process. You just reverse engineering. Is that what they call it? You just want to make sure that you got dowels that's going to go in here. And here, you want to make sure that they get started. They're in there. And this right here, you can't have the transmission all cockeyed, you know, and this not starting in the back of the crank. And then all of a sudden then decide, hey, I'm going to draw it up tight. I got a bolt started on each side. Crank them in until it goes. Don't do that. Get your dowel started. Your torque converter needs to be back. There's enough videos on that, but that needs to be back about an inch and half, inch and 3/4 all the way set in there. Put it up in there. Get the 2 dowels started. Dowel, I don't know. You know, then you can evenly do it. Sometimes I put a bolt in there once both started, and you watch the bell housing. If it's drawn up nice, easy, no pressure, this right here will start, and you're all good. To my van audience, and there's quite a few of you actually, it's not so scary. Common sense, common tools. Till next time.